Hi everyone, I'm Kiruthika from Sri Lanka. I represent Search for Common Ground, Sri Lankan office, and today I'm here to speak a little bit about the Sri Lankan context in regard to online hate speech as well as youth in the digital peace building space in Sri Lanka. A little bit of Sri Lanka, the country context. We all know that Sri Lanka has gone through a 30-year civil war, and then after that we have been having on and off communal violence, ethnic, religious related riots and other violence in the country on and off. In addition to that, in 2019 we were hit by the Easter bombing attacks, unfortunately. And then after that, COVID happened for 2 years. We were in lockdown most of the time. And then, of course, everyone knows right now, Sri Lanka is going through a terrible economic crisis and instability in the political arena, which is very unfortunate. And it will take at least another 4 or 5 years for us to come out of it, according to some of the economics that we have been working with. So in this context, we have seen at Search that there is a huge rise in hate speech, harmful speech, dangerous speech, gendered hate speech, and so on and so forth on digital platforms and social media platforms. And we saw this trend in increasing of online hate speech from 2017 onwards. And in that lens, we also understood that yes, social media platforms do their best to kind of curb this issue or reduce the impact of harmful speech and all of that. But it's very difficult because, in Sri Lanka we have 2 local languages and the harmful speech is in those local languages. So it's not only difficult for the platforms to identify these, keywords in the local language, but it's very difficult to also understand the context of each word, how it is, the connotative meaning of this and all of that. So that was also a very difficult thing because there was no specific lexicon in these languages, in Tamil and Sinhala. And the third thing is that we also saw, we also understood that there is an algorithm where it kind of pushes a lot of hate speech messages, kind of targeting a big audience in the social media platforms, which kind of in turn changes perspectives and behaviors and attitudes of especially youngsters, and that kind of has an impact on the offline violence also in our country, unfortunately. We also understood that a lot of civil society organizations did work in regard to kind of combating or countering hate speech, but there was so much of information coming in fluctuation of hate speech content. It was very difficult for us to kind of achieve those kind of objectives just within these organizations. So we needed more people to get involved, actually in countering hate speech. And lastly, it was very difficult, even now it is a challenge to kind of sustain the youth engagement and involvement in peace building initiatives in general, because they have other priorities, especially with the economic crisis and all. Everyone is trying to get out of the country and for career purpose or education and all of that. So it was very difficult to sustain their motivation in the peace building sector. We also understood there was not a coordinated youth-led group that we had who was directly targeting or countering dangerous hate speech. That also was a challenge for us. So in this context, what we thought was there is a growing momentum to involve youth in peace building online. That was very important. And it was also important for us at Search that we anticipate the future, because technology is new every day for us. So we anticipate the future and kind of ensure that we strengthen the collaboration and the coordination and cooperation not only within youth, but also between youth stakeholders, policymakers, national level politicians, so on and so forth, with modern solutions. And that was the key word, with modern solutions. So in that aspect, we started to work with one group of people who were mainly social media platform admins who had some sort of knowledge and skills and experience in identifying hate speech, online hate speech. And it was very easy to work with them because they already knew what the context was in the country. So we were working with them to counter hate speech directly, as well as we kind of connected them with other social media platform admins so that they created a very strong community and they discussed within themselves, assessed potential risks, challenges. They decided whether they actually want to counter a particular hate speech or not to counter that. So that decision was made by them organically, and the content which was put out by them was very user-led, and that is something that we always respect and we always promote and motivate to do that. User-led content comparatively to other content which is usually marketed by NGOs, INGOs, and the label is always there. So when user-led content is out, there is organic reach in the sentiments and so on and so forth. So that is one approach. The second approach is we work with a lot of other youth, because we were thinking, okay, this social media platform admins is not enough. And we called them cyber guardians at that time in 2019 when the Easter bombing attack came and there were a lot of hate speech coming online. Cyber guardians is not enough. We need new people to come in. We need a better force, a bigger force. And we thought, okay, fine, let's mobilize more youngsters, give them the right tools, the capacity building, the mentorship, guidance, coaching, so that they can then create more content and pioneer through the pathway where they can continue to counter hate speech and get involved in positive narratives and digital peace building in general. So we approached what we call a 3C approach. The first C is content. So content is where we make the youngsters or the youth understand that the same methodologies which is used to promote content which kind of promotes hate and prejudice can be always tapped to also make positive content, positive narratives for peace building as well. So that understanding was given to the youngsters. That's content. Second C, counter. So without adhering to adversarial approaches, we wanted the youth to understand that they could identify the hate speech, understand, get them to negotiate online, get onto common ground, and have online dialogues and nonviolent communication online. And through that, they could counter hate speech and also using their personal communication strategies, they can counter hate speech. And that's the second C, countering. The third C is champion. So when these youngsters, youth, understand that they can counter, not only counter, but also create content positively for positive narratives to promote peace building online, they become role models and they give an alternative for other peers to follow suit. So with this approach, we identified youth all over Sri Lanka from the northeast, southwest, and we gave them the right capacity building, which included, how to identify hate speech, digital rights, online safety protocols, and also technical side of it as well. We gave them capacity building on editing tools and so on and so forth. And then we always believe at Search that, giving the power to the youth, the decision-making power to the youth for social change is very important. So therefore we gave seed grants for them to come up with their own initiative, their own products to be developed, and for them to kind of go ahead and implement those products or awareness campaigns by themselves as user-led content. So basically the outcome is, of course, as I mentioned before, that they were able to produce more content throughout the last 3 years in terms of harmful effects of hate speech as well as positive narratives on peace building. The second one also, when the youth whom we call digital heroes together with the cyber guardians, they work together, collaborated together to challenge negative stereotypes towards minority religion, ethnicities, as well as other stereotypes which is affiliated to the LGBTIQ community, women, and persons with disabilities. And And we also understood that they had the opportunity to kind of work within their communities, and we, with their parents and all of them who had some sort of skepticism on online peace building, but with this program they were able to kind of further speak to them and convince them that youth can make a positive change. That's about it. And if anyone wants to follow our social media platforms, these are the links. And if anyone wants to talk to me later on, I would be more than happy to kind of speak.